Hello and welcome to another problem shared, where I will go through some of your questions, or your problems rather, and try and give advice as best as I can. As always, I'm not a professional in any of these matters. It's just based on my personal speculation, and I try to be as unbiased as I can. And I also would appreciate it if you, as an audience, could also help out the people that I do address in these videos in the comments below, so that they can have a more rounded advice kind of system thing going. Okay, so the first problem comes from someone called Callum, and he writes, "Hey Drew, just got watching your second advice with the Drew video, and I thought I would email you my problem. It's not a coming out story, as I've been out since I was 12 years old and I'm currently 18. Congratulations on that for a start. My problem is that I have social anxiety, but my problems are much worse, as mine involves IBS, which is irritable bowel syndrome. Which is to do with my bowels. Every time I need to go out, my IBS flares up, and that's when I need to go to the toilet. I just wondered what advice you could give me. My doctor said just don't think about it, but it's played a big part in my social life. Hardly wanted to go to school, I never attended college, and now it's worrying me to sign on at the job centre." Okay, so I guess you're from the UK then. "As much advice as you can would help out a lot. Thanks for making these videos and helping us out in need. Callum." You can say my name if you like. And then it's the second question, so I'll get to that in a second. Okay, so for social anxiety, I know all about that. Not fun, is it? But yours is obviously tied in quite integratedly with your IBS. I'm not a doctor at all, and the only things I know about IBS is what I've researched in the past, what I did in biology, and what I've seen on like TV on programs like Embarrassing Bodies and stuff. Obviously you need to cure your social anxiety as well as your IBS, because they're both kind of firing off together. So obviously your IBS will flare up if you get stressed, and social anxiety causes you to be stressed, but that's caused because of your IBS. So it's just this massive loop system you've got going, which is just really bad. For your IBS, it's a really common problem that I know of. That made it sound as if I know about every illness in the world. It's a common problem that any human has. That's a fact. There's no cure for it, as far as I'm aware, and the only real treatment methods are in certain. It depends on the symptoms of it. So say you had diarrhea as part of your IBS, then I know if you took like those things to make you, is it like an Imodium or something where it makes it solidify a bit better, then that could help you obviously not crap your pants. And if it's the opposite, if you're constipated all the time, then you can take more laxative ones to make it looser. That sounds a bit gross, but so it depends on what you got, but some people also suffer from both, so you know. The only way then that I could suggest you do it, because from what I know, is IBS stems from previous dietary things, if you've had some kind of like gut illness. So perhaps even like just changing up your diet a little bit may help. If you have quite constipated issues, then eat more fruit, probably some more fibre or something, and if it's the opposite, then try eat more heavier food, not things that are so rich then, I suppose. And then obviously once you've treated your IBS as best you can, or at least get it to a manageable level, then your social anxiety will also dissipate a little bit, because you're not going to be freaking out, because you're not going to be thinking about where's the nearest toilet all the time. So yeah, I mean, as you said, you've like spoken to the doctors and stuff about it, and they just say to, what was it as you said, they just say to not think about it, which is stupid. So I mean, obviously you can't not think about that. Any normal person with a rational mind would think about that when they're going out. It's just that you've got this social anxiety with it as well, which is really bad. I know there are certain medications that they can give you, but one way that you could try and combat it is on the social anxiety front, because obviously if you get socially anxious, can't speak, then that's going to flare up. So if you try tackling the social anxiety, and you could do that with a doctor if you wanted to go down the medication route, because you're the UK, you can get on the NHS anyway, you can get antidepressants, so these things that block certain thoughts in your mind, I tried them for a little while. I wouldn't recommend them. But then that's just how they affected me, which I'll talk about in a different video. But it depends on you, as I said in the last video with someone with a social anxiety thing, or the first video. If you're a strong person, then you will be able to try and treat it yourself just by testing yourself, pushing yourself. But obviously you seem to have been stuck with it for quite a while and you haven't done anything, so maybe the medication route could be better. Or if you don't want to take medication, you can try this thing called cognitive behavioural therapy, which tries and tackle it from inside your brain, and you do all this like therapy stuff. You could try that. That could work. And like, the only suggestion I can think of then is to try and tackle the social anxiety to stop your IBS from flaring up as often. Obviously it still will, you'll probably have it for the rest of your life, but it might tackle it, and then a little step is a bit better, you know, because nobody wants to be stuck inside, because it's just shit and nobody wants that. Second part of this question or problem is, hey Drew, this is my second story. When I was about 14, 15, I was involved with someone much older than me, and we got into a bit of trouble with the police. Not too much detail, but photos were sent wrongly and the man was arrested. And now my problem is I find it very hard to trust people, and it's made me very shy to interact with gay men. I either get too attached or I'm too hard on myself, thinking the guy won't talk to me because I'm ugly because of what the older guy was saying. What advice could you give to help me overcome obstacles like this? Oh God. Okay, so I'm not fully understanding the issue. Obviously trust stuff, I get that, but I mean with the guy, photos were sent wrongly. Like, do you mean he was sending your pictures out? And I'll assume that's what you mean, because that's what I'm interpreting as he would send out like rude pictures of you, or you and him or something. Seeing as you were 15 and you said he's much older, I can only guess then that he's going to be about 30 plus. Or perhaps 25 plus, because yeah, I'd say 25 plus, and either way that's like paedophilia. Although you were consenting, so it's, I don't know, you're still underage. What am I talking about? Right, so you were 15, you were in a relationship with someone that's much older than you. He did something with pictures and got arrested, and now you can't trust people because he said that you were ugly. Okay, well that makes no sense anyway, because, like, from his point, because if you were ugly then he wouldn't have been with you, and he would have felt the need to take pictures to send them about or wherever, and he wouldn't have been with a 15-year-old if he was ugly. I can only assume he was some kind of groomer, and he must have, like, built up your confidence to make you trust him, and then you fell in love with him or wherever, and then you met up and did stuff, and it was all fun and exciting because you're only 15 and you didn't really know too much about the world. And then shit got crazy, and now you're the one that's left fucked, figuratively, and he, oh, I don't know what's happened to him, but, trust. I might sound cynical when I say this, but I don't fully trust any single person, not even myself, because as much as I'd like to believe it, and as much as most people would like to believe it, you can never truly know anyone, not even yourself, because there's some things I do that even surprise me. So, for the trust part, that's fine, it's good to be a little bit distrustful, only to a degree though. You don't want to be constantly like paranoid and be like, oh shit, what are they doing, or all this like crazy thoughts. You just keep a respectable amount of distrust. But for the most part, you should trust people. As far as trust needs to go. Like, like if you got a boyfriend, then you could trust them not to fuck around behind your back, or you could trust them not to like hurt you, then, and if you ever get any feeling that you can't trust someone, when you think about it logically, not like crazily, then it's not worth being with them anyway. But to get over trust issues, you need to change your viewpoint on people, because obviously I've had trust issues and I still do to a degree. But you need to stop categorising every person as being the same. Nobody wants to get hurt, but throughout life you're gonna get hurt, and that's just tough, that's just life, that's just what life's about now. So, you find a person, they fuck you about. You find the next person, they fuck you about. You find the next person, they fuck you about. You find this last person, but just because these 3 people have fucked you in the past, doesn't mean this one will. And then if you do not trust him at all, for no reason yet, he hasn't given you any evidence that you can't trust him, then it's not fair on him, because he's always going to feel like shit and he'll just want to end the relationship if it doesn't just fall apart before then anyway, because you can't have trust issues in a relationship. So you need to treat people individually, and yeah, just don't categorise everyone with the same brush, or don't tar everyone with the same brush, or whatever the saying is, because I can't remember. And then you'll find yourself being able to find one person, and as I said, you don't ever trust someone fully, because that's just a recipe for disaster, because inevitably someone will hurt you. Even if it's the love of your life, someone's going to hurt you, and they probably will as well. It just depends on how strong the relationship is to get over that mistrust then. You know what I mean? Okay, so the final question comes from YouTube itself, from a user called Hill2Mason, and they ask, "Hi, I live in America and I have a question for you. It seems as though lesbian and gays are becoming more and more accepted for who they are, thank God. People including gays and lesbians are prejudiced against bisexuals. As a bisexual myself, I am confused and pissed about this. I have heard just pick a side or you can't have it both ways. Any advice or thoughts?" Well, well, Hill2Mason, I have expressively expressed myself on this matter so tiresomely much over the last few years. I've made a video about it in the past. It's a discussion, bisexuality doesn't exist, and it just infuriates me, because as I said in that video, you get straight people who hate on gays, generally, well, not generally, but the only cases of it being that so. Straight people who hate on gays, gays hate on bisexuals. And it's like, for all the gay people out there that do hate bisexuals, or whatever problem you've got against us, fuck up, because you've mourned for so long about these straight people bashing on you and all that fun stuff, and then you do the exact same thing to a bisexual person, and I just, like, I don't know if it's jealousy for the fact that we're more accepted by straight people and we don't really get hated on by them. It could be that. It could just be because you all have this belief that we're either straight or we are gay. There's no middle ground. There is. I'm proof of that. Hill2Mason is proof of that. I know millions of bisexual people. And I believe in that scale thing anyway, that nobody's truly one or the other. There's some kind of like flow in the centre. But as for the question how to deal with it, there's no way that I know of, because it still happens to me now. Even with Robert, he does the same stuff, and that pisses me off tremendously, because it's exactly like saying that I don't exist or something like that, because it's saying bisexuals doesn't exist. Then what am I then? Because I've been with women, I've been with men, I'm likely to have women again in the future if me and Robert ever broke up again, and then I might have mine again, who knows? And for the fact that people say there's greedy, that pisses me off, because I'm not greedy. Like, I've only ever had monogamous relationships. I've never just fucked around with everything. Like, I'll find someone, I like them, I'm with them. Straight people do the same, gay people do the same, bisexual people do the same. There is no fucking difference between anything. Okay? I gotta be crazy then. So yeah, as for getting over or dealing with the problem, then there is no way. You just gotta be strong in yourself, You've got to just put up with it. And for every person that does say anything to you about it, then I just say, fuck you, I'm bisexual, deal with it. I don't care even if it comes across as hostile or aggressive anymore, anything, because I'm just sick of it. And the more people that just become, okay, he's bisexual, cool, then fine, everything's fine then. Just learn to fucking accept people. It's taking you so long to like campaign for people to accept who you are, then you're fucking begrudging people that's different from you. It's a bunch of hypocrisy and it's bullshit, and we as bisexuals then shouldn't need to deal with it. Gay people should deal with it and just get over the fact that there are bisexuals in the world, just as the fact that straight people have to get over the fact that there's gay people in the world. You know? I've had enough of that, I'm rambling, I'm having a little rant. So that's all the questions I have anyway. If you want to submit any for next week's A Problem Shared, then in the description you can find my email address, so you can send them on YouTube or Facebook or Twitter. You probably won't get found on Twitter though, because there's character limit. But just send your problems to me and I will put you in the next video and hopefully give you some advice if I can. This video is a bit longer than normal because I've ranted and Callum had quite a few problems. So for you as an audience then, how would you help out Callum and Hills to Mason with the Social Anxiety IBS, and then the mistrust issues for Callum, and then for Hills to Mason about the bisexuality, dealing with the gay people not liking them? Again, I'm not a professional, so all of my things are just my own opinion, my own speculation and perspective. Thank you for watching, and I love you all. And until next time, thanks for watching again, and goodbye.